And it's just a privilege to own a beautiful little airplane like these CT-4s, and how wonderful also to see 4 CT-4s here again at Point Cook. It's not about me today, it's about the airplane, and these airplanes, their history is pretty well across the internet. You can look it up, but I'll just paraphrase it. I'm not sure what the CO said, but basically in 1975 or thereabouts, a total of 51 CT-4s started coming to Australia. They all flew across from Hamilton, where they were built in New Zealand with ferry tanks delivered to the Air Force. The first tranche arrived and started operating here at Point Cook. And back in those days, you would typically have 15 or so CT-4s lined up as you see them now, pointing in towards you, between where the Huey is and the CT-4s. They were all lined up here. And it was a very busy little airfield. You had an older tower back then. You had instructors and students walking out to the airplanes. Typically had 4 or 5 aircraft in the circuit here, and the airspace for Point Cook, which was dedicated, was right down past Geelong, the whole of the Bellarine Peninsula, right out to Bannockburn, and up to, I think it was from memory, 8,000 feet in some areas. So it was a big block of airspace. There was a lot of training. A lot of people went through here flying training, but not just flying training, engineers, logistics, people in the Air Force who had things to do with their squadrons. Of course, then there was the Central Flying School at Sale, which also had CT-4As. We're supposed to have a few air tourists here today. I'm not sure if some of those people managed to drive in instead because the weather was pretty awful north of Melbourne, but the air tourer was the grandfather of the CT-4, and that was designed here in Australia by Henry Milser and won a competition in the UK for the best design for a trainer side by side at the time. Unfortunately, he didn't pay the money. He ended up pushing it through a prototype, and they ended up building it at Victor, which also built motor mowers, but they also built machines and airplanes, and that's where the genesis of this aircraft came from. It was then sold on to New Zealand, and they designed it to replace the wing gel. And if you walk inside, you'll see the wing gel inside with the cowls open, and that occurred back in about 75 into 76, as I mentioned.
So that's a very basic history of the airplane. Which one is the CT-4? So these are all the CT-4s. These are privately owned CT-4s. And our airplane, number 77, which is the last one to be delivered to the Air Force to be doing a display at Quarter 2. The pilot, our carriers have now getting airborne. So the first today, very simple, which is only a charge per day. Even though the Squadron, CT-4A Airtrainer 77, has been flying in the Air Force for probably 35 numerous places. Try to get some high speed. The airplane has a maximum speed of around about 390 kilometres per hour, and we can pull around about...
Get your cameras ready, ladies and gentlemen. The synchro pair. As the team is set up for the loop, the wheel, on your left is Roulette 5, Flight Lieutenant David Bernard, and on your right is Roulette 6, Flight Lieutenant Brody Sweeney. Roulette 5 and 6 are operating at the very edge of the aircraft's performance envelope, pulling up to 6 times the force of gravity. That's 6 times their body weight, pressing them into the seat. Roulette 6, Flight Lieutenant Brody Sweeney, grew up on the Gold Coast and joined the Air Force in 2006. After graduating before returning to Central Flying School, which was subsequently selected as Roulette 3 and now Roulette 6. Growing up in Adelaide, he used to watch the Roulettes from a hill near his home. Today, he's flying in the very team that inspired him. Bernie originally joined as an engineer in 2008, before transferring to pilot and flying P3 Orion and P8 Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft. There's a hell of a wind up there this afternoon. What makes the Roulettes unique is that being a member of the team is not their full-time role. Each pilot is primarily an instructor at Central Flying School, training experienced pilots from across the Australian Defence Force to become instructors themselves, setting the standard for aviation training across the entire Defence Force.
Oh, shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here at the
the CT-4, most people know it as the plastic. The instructors saw this airplane come in 1975 and it was painted yellow and green. And derogatorily they said it looks like a plastic parrot, so that's stuck as a nickname for the airplane. Airplane's overall at high speed, the maximum speed of the airplane is 200 knots. And we're trying to get very close to that today. Again, you'll be going about 3.5 feet, and you can see at the very top, because of that wind, it's almost going to stop the airplane. Over the top now, and we're taking down about 500 feet is where Dave starts his display from. Now Dave's pulling up into a barrel roll, which is a great manoeuvre. It describes it's a vertical manoeuvre with a rolling, so at the very top of the manoeuvre you're trying to be 90 degrees away from where you started, and then come back out in the direction that you started. Very reliable engine in these, and as you can see by the ones on the ground, great visibility over the airplane. There's massive canopy, allows you to be able to see about 360 degrees, provided you can turn your head around that far. There's another one. Back in the day when 1HS was operating, as you see these airplanes lined up, we'd have up to 30 or 40 airplanes lined up along in a row, and we'd all come out as students, pick an airplane, go out, start the airplane up usually, warm it up, and then our instructors would walk out and jump in when the airplane started. Doing a low pass now at 200 feet. Which means that we can take off and land in any direction. So Point Cook, as you're probably aware, was the birth they started to use nose wheels instead of tail wheels. They needed stronger airfields to land on, so we put in some strips on here. But Point Cook still has the glass strips, and we use those for our large airplanes, so tail nonsense like flip ups, and we can land in any direction. Do you move it? Now if Dave comes back for another pass, he'll be looking out so we can all wave. He'll be able to see us, so when he comes to us. Oh, he drops up there, there we go folks, let's all wave to Dave so he can see us. That tail end you see now with the headwind is probably at least 20 knots of wind there. His approach speed is 75 knots, which is around about 130 kilometres an hour, so I'm going to be touching down less than that, about 100 kilometres an hour, and he'll pull up in no time at all. We can mark him on his landing. Let's have a look at it. I reckon that's pretty good. That's not bad. We'll get, he's holding the nose up with that wind. Look at that, before the nose comes down. Very short stop there. So I reckon we'll probably about an 8 or 9 for that landing. Maybe 9, but we'll tell them it was a 5. see what he says. Now Dave's going to come across the grass. As I said, it isn't all over airfield, and when I was here flying on Point Cook, only take this to the grass. We'll travel down to see how he's worked out. Now, Dave will just run the engine up a little bit to get it prepared to shut down. So massive canopy will take a bit of wind, so hopefully we'll hold on to that. And of course, we don't have anything until take his helmet off. As I can tell you, he's old as well, so not going to have anything when he takes his helmet off either. But we'll give him a big round of applause when he gets the helmet off and he can hear us. Don't clap yet. Hold your applause. Hold. Wait. Wait. Not yet. Alright, that comes the large canopy now. He's still got his helmet on. So Dave's undoing, he's got a six-piece harness in there, which holds over the shoulders, the strap, and then a negative G as well. So that if the aeroplane is doing negative G, he's nicely and securely strapped in. So Dave, can you hear us, Dave? Thumbs up, ready. Round of applause to Dave. So Dave, you're 5 to your landing, Dave, a 5. Just joking, you reckon it was probably a 9.5. It was pretty good. Yeah, 5 tries, it's a 10, there you go. Alright, Dave, so
And also the members of the Lobby Squadron are very young ladies and just all those other people that you've got very lucky in many respects to the weather. It's been a sweet day.
It's been a little bit emotional for me, I must admit. I do actually own number 61, the one next to it. And it's just a privilege to own a beautiful little airplane like these CT-4s, and how wonderful also to see 4 CT-4s here again at Point Cook. Incidentally, I'll regress, when the CT-4s first arrived, they were in a yellow-green colour. And when they turned up and the instructors looked at them, they said, oh, these look like parrots. And the Windchill is a very mighty airplane too, it's very strongly built. They looked at these airplanes, the early tranche of the CT-4 off production line. Their nickname is...
What do you want? I wouldn't mind DC ones. Sure, man. I wouldn't mind if it's just yeah, sure. I've been for 4 years almost, so cool and nice. Pretty cool. That's like my absolute favorite car. Super. Yeah, it's a mean machine, man. It's